Hello, hello, fam. Hello, Alyssa. I am so excited to have Alyssa Wolf here. We have talked many times on live, and um, in the state of where we are in the world and of all of the things that are going on and how it's impacting our daily lives, and definitely it's having an impact in our wine glasses, I thought Alyssa would be the perfect person to come on and talk about um, are tariffs still real, and what has happened since the Supreme Court decision and how it really is affecting us on a regular basis. So welcome, Alyssa. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi, excited to be here. Even got my hair cut yesterday, so I
I
don't
was
look like a
noticing
hot mess. So yeah,
it's very cute. Very, and it's here on the East Coast. It was 80 degrees today, which is
hmm
perfect for your cut is perfect for the upcoming spring. Hopefully we'll have a
hmm
spring. Yeah,
that would be nice. Yeah, I don't need to go straight to summer.
right. Exactly. Exactly. So, okay, so can you walk us through the timeline when tariffs were imposed and how it affected your business?
Absolutely. So when the current president was elected back in November of 2024, we knew that part of the plan was that the administration was going to tariff imported goods. We didn't really have a lot more information than that, but we knew it was happening. With the election results, my partner and I discussed should we just hustle and order stuff now and hope for the best? And we thought about doing it, but because at that point it could have been, there were threats coming out 50%, 200% tariffs, which just you can't sell wine at 200%
Right.
of its value. That's insane. So we debated rushing a container in, but decided not to because everyone was doing that. And the bigger companies that are well funded have the ability to cover, that there's all the shippers spike their prices because they were
Mhm.
able to. So we didn't want to deal with that. We didn't want to deal with port congestion. And we kind of thought, if it's going to be a 50% tariff, a 200% tariff, we're just delaying the inevitable. And we're not going to be able to operate at that rate. So year ends, we didn't make any moves. And then beginning of the year, I'm starting to run out of stock on things. So I've got to make a move. We still didn't know what was going on. And I forget the exact initial deadline, but if I remember correctly, it was early April when
Mhm.
the 10% reciprocal tariffs came out. And that was pretty much for everybody. There were exceptions for folks who already had ships on the water. We did not at that time. So I ordered a container. I believe it was from South Africa, actually. And it ended up getting caught in a few delays, taking a little bit longer to arrive than we had planned on. And meanwhile, the clock is kind of ticking because the administration is threatening to give us higher tariff rates, and we don't
Mhm.
know what those are. So I ended up, my boat cleared customs, I believe it was July 29th. And then I think it was August 2nd that the new higher rate tariffs took effect. So I was lucky in that I got in at the 10% rate instead of what then eventually became for South Africa, a 30% rate. That's very different. And for Portugal and the EU, or Portugal's my other country of origin that I work with, that came in at 15%. But I was lucky. I snuck actually 2 containers in under the 10% rate. I say lucky in quotes because that still costs me about an additional 7 grand up front. Again, I'm small. Bigger companies are paying, hundreds of thousands, and even millions of dollars in tariffs. But for us, having $7,000 just get pulled from my bank account, more or less upfront, still presents a cash flow problem
Mhm.
because that
Mhm.
7,000 is on top of the normal customs costs that we always pay, And then, of course, the cost of shipping, the cost of, other costs that are
Right,
associated
right.
with running a business. Yeah. So at that point, I was stocked up. South Africa was hit with 30%, Portugal and the EU at 15. And we were good. We were good through the end of the year. I knew I was going to run into some stock issues towards the end of the year. We did okay. I had planned. I really started to run out of stock at the beginning of this year when I was waiting to order to try to see if I would know, am I going to potentially have to pay $20,000 in tariffs, nothing in tariffs, which is why I'm out of a certain wine that I know you guys ordered. So sorry
Yes.
about that.
That's okay.
Yeah. So then when the hearing came in a few weeks ago, obviously it was excellent news. I want to give a massive shout out to VOS Selections for being the little guys who are willing to stand up and fight for everybody else. I think that's very brave. And massively important that they did that, and huge credit to them. And I have no doubt you'll see their wines in DC soon, because I think distributors are fighting for them, as they should be. That was great. Unfortunately, that night, and I think it's Section 322. Don't quote me on that, but there was basically another article where the president could put out another 10% universal tariff on everybody, but it has an expiration of 150 days. So it's not an indefinite tariff, and it's obviously better than 10%. And at least for me, it's a level playing field. Is it good? No. If I order $100,000 worth of wine, I have to pay an additional $10,000 on that. So it still impacts cash flow. It impacts our pricing. But anyway, that's where we are now. And I'm hoping for a miracle between now and then, that some judge says, oh, no, he wasn't actually allowed to do that, and they go away. But we'll see.
Yeah. Well, so thank you for that. Thank you. I can only imagine, and I saw back in 2024 some of your Instagram posts, and I can only imagine the emotion that you had on a daily basis of like, what's going to happen now? How are we going to fund this? How did it impact your business relationships with your distributors here in the United States? Because you just don't distribute. I just want to give people a full picture. You're not just distributing or selling to distributors in the Washington, D.C. area. You have national accounts that you have to work with and coordinate the shipping to them so they can receive your products.
Yeah, and I'm fortunate in that I am working with smaller distributors, not like these big, huge companies that keep buying each other. So I do have personal relationships with all of those people. And I was just honest and upfront from the beginning. Like, I can't cover the whole cost. Our margins are very slim to begin with. We do not make, like, our profits are not high. We do not make a lot of money. What do they say? If you want to become a millionaire in the wine industry, start with $1 billion, something like that. So there's just not a whole lot of room to work with there. Fortunately, I was chatting with one of my distributor partners, Lisa Bell in Virginia, LK Wine Tours and Sales. She is another importer who I've never met him. He's supposed to be a great guy, great portfolio. Had the idea of essentially adding like a tariff surcharge to our invoices. That way you can track in your inventory system how much you've received in money from your customers as far as trying to cover your losses on the tariffs. It also allows me, rather than changing my base pricing or calculating bottle per bottle, this wine was tariffed, this wine wasn't tariffed. I just kind of spread it out amongst everything, because I had some stuff that didn't get tariffed at all. So I came up with a number where I'm covering some of the costs, but then again, I'm also spreading that out among the entire portfolio. I approached all of my customers with that. They all seemed to think that was pretty fair. It also initially, my thought, because I don't know, I guess this is just how my mom raised me and my dad raised me. I was like, oh, if I get a refund, I can give them that money back,
Mm-hmm.
which was genuinely my thought process. But now I'm realizing, I'm like, well, yeah, but I also had to cover my cash flow deficits
Yeah.
and take on extra debt. And, like, obviously I'm not like, money that's not in my bank is I'm not collecting interest on that.
Mm-hmm.
Not having that money and all of the other things that are going on with the economy, which I know impact your business as well, obviously. I was like, well, I can't really give that money back. If it does get refunded, I need to invest that into my business and into my suppliers and address stock issues and not be going out of stock on things. But what I am planning on doing, if we ever get that money back, and I'm not holding my breath, is it will allow me to maybe give away some free goods.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, hey, we're doing a celebration of tariff refund day, and for
Right.
an order of this, you get this, that kind of thing.
No, that's good. That was going to be my next question is, has the government reached out to you and said, "Hey, this is the form 192562 that you fill out to get your refund." But that has not
No,
happened.
no, the government has definitely not reached out to us. And to be fair, I mean, that is a big, there's a lot of people. Um, I have been in touch with my customs broker. They've given us advice on kind of what the plan is. Different lobbying groups in the industry and even some of the shippers are sending out regular emails, kind of just updating people on where things are.
Mhm.
So we're essentially just preparing ourselves to be ready to receive the refund if they do indeed give the refunds.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
But
is Mhm.
the earliest I would see that money, and again, this isn't finalized yet for me, would be July of this year. It has to do with customs terms and when things
Mhm.
liquidate, and like that's when I would be eligible for the refund. But that is not for everybody. That is depending on when your shipments came in.
Okay.
Yeah.
That kind of makes sense. So, for those who don't know, Alyssa has this great quarterly wine club called the Importer's Corner. And over, I think it's been 2 years now. Has it been 2 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, for 2 years, we've been managing that club for her. And obviously, it's wines that she imports from South Africa and from Portugal. And so, can you talk about how this quarter's club has been affected by current
Mhm.
events and everything that's going on?
Yeah. So the idea behind Importer's Corner was, yes, to have a wine club that's mine. Friends and family reach out. They want to be able to buy my products, but they live in different states and states where I don't have representation. Uh, so that is part of it. But the idea too is that I can take wines that maybe aren't like, high volume things that move like crazy on the shelf, but are
Mhm.
really special to me. And I can feature them in the club and show people, like, okay, maybe you wouldn't just wander over to this wine in the store,
Right.
but it's an amazing bottle. And this is why I think it's an amazing bottle. Please try it. I also wanted to be able to kind of have like my little, I don't like to use VIP because that sounds snobby, but our club members of our club would get the chance to try new products
Hmm.
before they're out, all over the place in the market. So that was kind of the idea. And in 2024, I went down to South Africa and I met with all of my producers and I met with quite a few new producers and tasted through a bunch of wines and had these grand plans to bring on a new supplier. I don't want to share who because it's not happening and for no fault of their own. Um, but that was the idea. And then
Mm.
when the election came through and then spring of 2025, we kind of knew, this is coming. We just don't know what the numbers are. I was like, I'm not bringing on any new products this year. Or
Right.
SKUs is the term that we use in the industry. So like this is a wine from Ataraxia. I carry 3 SKUs from Ataraxia: the Serenity Red, the Chardonnay, and the Pinot. I had wanted to bring on new SKUs from my current suppliers, my current
Mhm.
vineyards, and bring on new vineyards as well. But it's whenever you launch something, you never know how it's going to do. And if I
Yes.
have no idea how I'm going to have to price that product, it makes it really hard to plan.
Mhm.
Because this wine that should, in theory, let's say retail around like $24, if it's coming in at a 200% tariff, like that's crazy. I'm most
Right.
likely just buying wine that I'm never going to be able to sell, and I still have to pay for it.
Mhm.
Which means I could throw one heck of a party, but it's not exactly a good way to make business decisions. So that combined with other things that were going on, especially locally, so many people lost their jobs in the beginning of last year. Just a lot of uncertainty. I mean, that's continued, but a lot of uncertainty in general.
Mhm.
So I decided to lock down and not bring anything new. And I even didn't cut stuff out of my portfolio, but a few more premium products that I normally have in stock in small amounts, I just didn't bring in because I didn't want to have to pay. Your tariff is based on the value of the goods. So if you have a bottle of wine that I buy at $10 a bottle
Mhm.
versus a bottle of wine that I buy at $23 a bottle.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not buying bottles, I'm buying cases, I'm buying pallets.
Mhm.
It significantly impacts that total cost. So I tried to keep my container costs down, focus on those wines, those SKUs that kind of have their loyal customer base already, make sure that I didn't get myself into trouble, and then was going to move forward after that. Of course, the confusion. Even this year, we had hoped to have an answer on the tariffs before the end of 2025. We didn't. We hoped to have it in January. We eventually got it in
Right.
February. At some point, I just got frustrated and I was like, F it, I'm buying some new stuff.
Mhm.
So that probably not how most people would advise you to make decisions, but I was like, I can't just, I want to continually evolve and grow and
Right.
change. So I decided to take the risk. And then fortunately, the tariffs got struck down because I would have been paying 30% on those bad boys.
Wow. Well, I mean, I have to say, if there's a good thing, you are small and you can pivot easily. You know what I mean? You're not like, no, we're only going to do this. And it takes you a long time to adjust, that you can adjust fairly quickly. And so you're nimble in that situation. But I do understand there is a point where you're like, am I going to allow this to hold me back? And how do I minimize risk while continuing to grow? So that
Mhm.
makes perfect
Yeah.
sense in doing that.
Yeah. And I normally, with the volume we do now, when I launch a new product, unless it's like very premium, I normally bring a full pallet of it in. So that would be in the case of 12 packs, like 50 to 60 12 packs of wine.
Mhm.
In this situation, I actually forget exactly what I ordered, but I think I brought in like half a pallet each of 2 new products from Portugal. And I forget if it was a half pallet or a full pallet from South
Mhm.
Africa. So I did drop my volumes a little bit. But again, that was because I needed to order before the tariff ruling came.
Right.
If I was ordering today, I probably would go with the full pallet order.
That makes sense. That
Yeah.
so would you like to share with us what's in the importer's corner?
Oh, for this quarter.
Yes.
Yes. I was like, I want to keep my new SKUs secret a little bit. Although,
Yeah.
no, that's not true. They're on my website. So, yes. So this quarter, Importer's Corner, we are featuring our my wines. We are featuring our Padre Pedro White from
Mhm.
Portugal. This is a winery that has been woman owned and operated since World War II. And when you get your bottle, you'll notice it has like a horse silhouette on the label. And that is because the owner, Teresa, is a horse breeder. The horse also has a crown, and that's because she is a countess, I believe. So she's part of the Portuguese royal family. We will have our Silver Mine Rosé, which is a 2025 rosé. It is from South Africa, from Stellenbosch, but it's from this little region in Stellenbosch called the Banghoek Valley, which is just a little bit cooler than the rest of the valley. They usually harvest about 2 weeks later. And it is a mostly Cabernet Franc rosé with just a little bit of Semillon blended in. I don't know if you've tasted it yet, Leslie. It is, they changed the profile a little bit, and I really like it. It's a little bit more delicate, but a little bit more complex. It's not quite the like boom burst of fruit up front. It's just like a little more subtle, but there's a lot more going on. Yeah.
I like that. Can I just say this one observation? That's why I like the wines that you bring in, because they're not the same. Like the vintage really does make a difference. They're not like vastly different from one to the other, unless they're changing the grape profile. But there are these nice subtleties that make the vintages distinguishable. And I think that's part of the beauty of having something like the Importer's Corner and other, sourcing from other smaller wineries, is because you're able to appreciate that nuance. And it's not like if you were going to XYZ wine store and you get Barefoot, no offense to Barefoot, but it's going to be the same every time. Like you can close your eyes and say, oh, this is Barefoot. There's no nuance there. It's the same. And that's why they make it and people enjoy it, because some people don't like that change. So I really appreciate that there are these nuances in these wines that are already really yummy and delicious. And then they just add this additional layer there.
Yeah. And, wine, it almost kind of is a living thing, right? Like it should reflect the vintage. Now, again, I'm not talking about like non-vintage sparkling wine where they're intentionally having that house style.
Right.
But when you're talking about some of the like really big brands, the like really big grocery store brands, there's a lot of science happening that to get that product to be exactly the same and have these certain flavors and whatnot. With the wineries I work with, like it's just a natural product. It's agriculture. Like you just kind of guide those grapes to do what they're meant to do. You're not manipulating them to the point where it's tasting exactly the same. Now, with both South Africa and Portugal, in general, they are warm, sunny, and dry. So you don't have a lot of issues as far as like mold or wetness.
Right.
You do have good consistency in the quality of the fruit year to year. But yeah, if you have cooler nighttime temps, you might have a wine that's a little bit more delicate and floral. If you have a hotter season, you might have a wine that's a little bit higher in alcohol, a little bit more fruit forward. If you have a drought year, you might have some really lovely wines that have like good intensity. So yeah, it definitely tells a story of the place at that time.
I 100% agree. And I love the detailing too of the label for the rosé and how it has the South African flower on there, and just so much history that there are these little gems and nuggets that are on their label.
Yeah. And then my third wine, we managed to get a special one in there. So we have the Serenity from Ataraxia.
Which is
Ataraxia.
Very nice.
Yes. They are a vineyard in a region called Hemelanarda, which is Afrikaans for heaven and earth. It's just a stunning area. So it's south of Cape Town on the coast. So you have the ocean influence there. And then you also have mountains. So, and you're further south, which is the southern hemisphere, is of course going to be cooler.
Right.
So you have these elements where they can grow these like really delicate, beautiful wines. So Pinot Noir, Chardonnay are two well-known grape varieties from that region. But they
Mm-hmm.
also grow other things, Pinotage, Syrah, Cinsault, and whatnot. Um, Now, the Serenity is not the flagship wine from Ataraxia, because that one's really expensive. But it is a great introduction to Ataraxia's wine and Kevin's style of winemaking. This is a very South African blend. It is Pinot Noir, Cinsault, and Pinotage. So Pinot Noir and Cinsault are the parent grapes to Pinotage. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
So how would you describe the body on that particular wine?
Say it's medium. His
Mhm.
Pinots are going to be a bit more delicate. The What I
Yeah.
like about the Serenity is it's kind of like sometimes Pinot Noir can almost be intimidating because it is so light and delicate, and you're like, I really have to be paying attention, and
Mhm.
wine focus. And sometimes you just want to drink wine and eat food and hang out with your friends. So the Serenity is a little bit more medium bodied. It's a little bit more I don't want to use the word intense, but accessible. Like you know what it's about when you
Right.
taste it. That
Mhm.
is the Pinot Noir and the Cinsault. Those are two grapes that do have a little bit more tannin to them. They have thicker skins. They add a little bit more body to the wine as well. So I think it's a really, really lovely blend, a way that you can get a taste of what Ataraxia does without one having to open a crazy expensive bottle of wine, or two
Mhm.
feel like you need to, cook the perfect dinner to go with it, that kind of
Right.
thing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, the reason why I asked you that, not to put you on the spot, but I was describing Pinot Noir the other day, in personality traits, that if you've ever had that family member, there's always something going on with them. You just don't know what that issue is going to be that day. That's what Pinot Noir is to me. Like,
Hmm.
it's unpredictable, and you can make assumptions about, oh, this is where it's grown, and this is, what you should expect in the bottle and the expression, but you don't know until you open the bottle. And so often people will think that, um, it being from South Africa, it's going to be really, heady and, a fuller body, but this really is a delicate Pinot
Hmm.
Noir. And it has beautiful a bouquet to it, and soft notes that is unexpected when you think of a South African Pinot Noir.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah. 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 She's difficult to grow and she's difficult to make. And if you
Mhm.
rub her the wrong way at any point during that process, she will let you know in the bottle. Versus a grape like Cinsault. Now, that being said, some of the best Pinot Noirs in the world sell for tens of thousands of
Yes.
dollars.
Mhm.
Um, Cinsault is like way more laid back. Like if there's something not perfect with the vintage, you can still have a fantastic bottle of wine.
Right. Right.
If something happens in the cellar, you can still have a fantastic bottle of wine. She's not going to go for $10,000 a bottle, but she's going to be a damn good bottle of wine. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Mhm.
I hope we start seeing more and more Cinsault out of South Africa. It's a really great place for that grape.
Mhm.
But I think here it's fun that it's kind of this one. Actually, Rob. Rob calls it the
Yeah.
incestuous blend. Like,
Of course he would.
yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that is a fun wine. Then I decided, well, because of not bringing on any new wines last year,
Mhm.
I was running out of things to include in Importer's Corner. So I decided that it might be nice to feature another local importer. So I reached out to Leslie and she graciously agreed. So this month we are featuring Natalia from Bohemish Wines.
Mhm.
Natalia is a lovely, lovely person. I've met her. She's fantastic. There is a video with our Importers Corner Club that Natalia did. She does a great job. And I should mention she had a baby the day before.
Are you serious?
Yeah, when she told me that, I was like, Natalia, I could have BS'd my way through it for you. I don't expect you to work. Goodness. Yeah.
Wow.
So she's a trooper. But she did a lovely job with the video. Yeah. So here we have this is her Bonania Estate Red, which is a blend of Gamza, which is a Portuguese grape, and Cabernet Franc. No, I just said Portuguese. I'm just used to saying Portuguese, and I did a
Right.
Portuguese dinner. It is a Bulgarian grape. Sorry. So Gamza is a Bulgarian grape. Cabernet Franc is an international varietal. So the blend is mostly Gamza, little bit of Cab Franc. The Gamza adds this like tart red fruit, and the Cabernet Franc just adds a little bit of spice. And it is a wine. It is a red wine. It's kind of medium bodied. It's not super light, but it does have a little of that fruity tartness. It's nice with a slight chill on it. So I figured as we're getting into spring, that could be a fun option as well. Bonania is right on the Danube River in Bulgaria. And the guy who makes the wine, and I'm not even going to try to say names because it's not going to go well. But he's a pretty well-known winemaker in Bulgaria, a little bit more old school style, but now embracing some like newer technologies and newer things that they have access to. So he has both experience with like the more ancient winemaking techniques and styles, and then more modern winemaking as well.
Right. I love that. I'm glad that we're doing this because since I started, Natalia and I have been in the same warehouse.
Oh, cool. Oh,
And
yeah.
and we've talked about, oh, okay, we're going to do something, like the friends who are like, oh, we're going to have lunch. We're going to have lunch. And then, 20 years later, their kids are in college. So when this was suggested to me, I was like, yeah, absolutely. This would be great because this is like another avenue to try our wines. But then the other thing is that people get lulled into certain wine regions and they don't know about these other regions because they're not popular or what have you. And so this is a great way to try it and not feel like when you're in the wine store, if I bought this bottle, what if I don't like it? You know what I mean? It's part of the set. So you're going to try it anyhow because it's got a great story and everything to it.
Exactly. Yeah. And again, I don't know. I probably do this too much, but I just see no reason to not support other people in the wine industry. And if you're a decent person and I like your wines, I'm going to tell people that I like your wines and that I think you're a good person and that they should buy wine from you. I think that Natalia is a very cool portfolio. And I also want to give her props for her logo. If you look at the back of the bottle, and I don't have one on me, her Bohemish Wines logo, when you look at it quickly, it's just a woman's silhouette wearing sunglasses.
Glasses, yeah.
But it's a wine glass. Like
the
neck goes thin, and then you can see the little wine glass. Yeah, it's really cute.
I can't wait to get the bottle. It's on her business cards, and I when you said that, I remember like the glasses. That's what I recall it was the glasses. Yeah. So I'm really excited about it. We are finalizing all of the details. I was going on our website now just to put the link in the on the screen so people can have it, but I noticed a technical difficulty there, which is not great. So when the show is over, I'm gonna put in the notes, and then when we repost it again, people can link to the Importer's Corner and try it out. And I have to say, for the quality of the wines that we have in there, I think the pricing is super reasonable.
It is. Yeah. And Leslie and I did a fun little thing last year. We did Importer's Corner wine trio for Thanksgiving. So as I start to get new stuff in, I'll keep that in mind too, that we might have options for fun little side projects too. But Yes, I do expect for Q2. And I say expect because you just never know nowadays what the heck is going to happen. But for Q2, I should have between, I should definitely have one new product, possibly two additional ones, so three total. The
Mhm.
only reason I wouldn't have the other two is if one of my winemakers is coming to town. So if we end up selling out the new stuff, then I won't have
Oh,
it. But I can't let him not sell wine while he's here. But yes,
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
I I will reorder it and then have it for later in the year. So yeah, I will at least have two new products from one from Cop Six, two from Quinta d'Alicia. So I'm very excited about that.
Are you okay? So I this is a wine show, right? And it will forevermore be a wine show. But you had great news last year that you were recognized for the gin that you brought.
Hmm.
And are you expanding your spirits line?
Yeah, we are. We're in talks with the guys at Sugarbird about some, they call them bespoke products. Like they're basically little kitschy things they do around the holidays, like the
Hmm.
advent calendars, that kind of thing. So we are looking for retailers to launch that, those products in. Little teaser, they also have agave spirit from South Africa, and somehow they have tequila, like actual tequila from Mexico in their portfolio too. And I'm thinking about those things as well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Let me know because we have a little agave margarita drink on our website.
I saw that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. So, yep, yep. Let me know. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you so much. Um, I have a couple fun questions before we
Okay.
exit. Okay, so um, spring officially started last week or so, but it was just so horrible. Who knew? Um, do you transition from like certain drinks to other drinks in spring, or are you pretty consistent? Like you're an equal opportunity
Wine
drinker?
wise, I'm pretty consistent. I
Hmm.
I think we all, not we all, I do tend to eat a little bit of lighter, more lighter
Right.
style foods in the summer. So yeah, the wines will shift that way. And I will, if it's freezing out, I may not want a chillable red, but I
Right.
drank rosé all year. I drank bubbles all year. I drank white wine all year, and I drank red wine all year. I
Hmm.
think for me, I see more seasonal differences with like cocktails.
Yes. Hmm.
I don't tend to make a margarita when it's freezing out, and I don't tend to want a Manhattan when it's 105 degrees out.
Hmm.
So I think I see it more with spirits.
Yeah, me too. Like today, I'm supposed to go see friends later, and I was thinking, oh, this is the important things. What am I gonna have to drink there? Plus, the other thing, this is just a practice that I have is most places have a really shitty wine menu. So,
Mhm.
I just don't get wine there unless like I really know. And then the other thing being in the industry, I just have to have a conversation with myself and say,
Mhm.
you know how much that bottle is, but you're going to buy the wine anyhow.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, so then I tend to drink spirits because I'm like, you know, whatever it's going to be. And so like you said, like having a margarita, like today's a great day to have a margarita, or I would have something like a cucumber vodka if they have it,
Hmm.
and just like a spritz or something like that, something really clean because it's warm
Exactly.
outside. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, my last question that I ask everybody, but I don't think I ever asked you this question, so if I did, pretend like you didn't answer it before. um If you had just one wine to drink for the rest of your life, and it could be a brand or it could be a varietal, what would it
Mhm.
be?
Chenin Blanc.
Really?
Yeah, and it's sneaky because you can. So Chenin is my favorite, definitely my favorite white grape variety,
Mhm.
probably my favorite grape variety in general. You can have Shennons that are just really clean and crisp and fruit forward. You can have ones that are much more mineral driven. You could have ones that are demi-sec, and you can have
Mhm.
that with spicy food. You can get sparkling Shannon from South Africa, from the Loire Valley, maybe Jura. I'm not sure. I forget if they do Shannon in the Jura. I think they do.
I haven't seen it. But they
Don't
probably do, yeah. Mhm.
don't hold me to that. Yeah, and if it's you're wanting like a bigger, bolder white that's seen some oak, Shannon can do
Mhm.
that as well. If you want a late harvest wine because you're having dessert, Shannon can do that too. So yeah, 100% Chenin Blanc.
It makes a great cocktail too.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you could make it like it's a if you wanted to substitute, um, a vodka or even, a gin. Some
Hmm.
people will substitute Sauvignon Blanc because it has that herbaceousness that,
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
gin would have, but if you didn't want that, you could use Chenin as your base and you'd be good.
Nowadays, I need my gin ABV. I think if I'm doing a cocktail. Yeah.
I'm with you, sister. I'm with you. Well, thank you for taking the time today. I really appreciate it. Can you tell people where to find you
Yeah.
and if you have any upcoming events? I saw you had in the Fishbowl. Did
Mm,
that pass already?
oh no. Yeah. So I'm Alyssa. I own Red Wolf Imports. We are at Red Wolf Imports on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And yes, I did a Portuguese wine dinner on Sunday at a table, which was fantastic. Such good food. This weekend, I have tastings on Saturday at Kenilworth Wine and Spirits in Townsend and at Decanter Wine Shop on Capitol Hill on Sunday. And next Wednesday, this is industry only. Actually, Leslie, let me know if you're interested in
Okay.
an invite. Full Pour Magazine. I was one of the ad sponsors with my Sugarbird chins.
Mhm.
Vin Vitalite is the nonprofit that I sit on the board on. They were my nonprofit sponsor. Vin Vitalite is here supporting women in the wine industry. Next Wednesday at the Fish Shop DC, there is an industry event with Lauren Buzio, who used to write for Wine Enthusiast and now has her own magazine, Full Pour, which is fantastic. If you are into wine, cider, beer, coffee, cannabis, non-alcoholic drinks, Lauren's the person.
Cool, cool, cool. Well, thank you. Thank you for your time, and I will chat with you soon. Thanks,
Okay,
man.
sounds good.
Thanks for
All right,
watching us.
cheers. Bye bye.